All right, let's jump right in. Did you know that over 40% of the entire web runs on WordPress? 40%. That literally makes it the single biggest target on the internet today. So in this explainer, we are going to demystify a totally crucial topic that affects a massive chunk of that landscape, and that's WordPress security auditing. Now, really quickly, if you hear words like security auditing or command line scanner, and you immediately think you need, I don't know, a computer science degree or crazy advanced coding skills to pull it off, let me just stop you right there. You absolutely don't. Today, we're breaking down a true beginner's guide to mastering WPScan security. We're going to keep things incredibly clear, highly structured, and entirely focused on practical, everyday defense.
So, I have to ask, is your WordPress site secretly exposed right now? It's kind of a chilling thought, isn't it? But the reality is that the vast majority of website vulnerabilities are literally just hiding in plain sight. We're talking about everyday things, outdated plugins, easily guessable public usernames, or just really weak configuration settings. Basically, these are digital open windows. And today, we're going to learn exactly how the pros find them.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our exact roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll meet your security guard. Then we'll talk about speaking the command line. Third, finding WordPress weaknesses. Fourth, we're going to go over the essential hacker toolkit. And finally, we'll wrap the whole thing up with your 30-day mastery plan.
Starting with Section 1, Meet Your Security Guard, where we'll really understand WPScan.
I really want you to picture WPScan not just as some abstract software, but literally as an automated security guard that you've hired to walk the digital perimeter of your building. WPScan is easily one of the most popular WordPress security tools used by both actual cybersecurity pros and regular site admins. It's a command line scanner that systematically hunts for weak points. It checks for out-of-date WordPress versions, vulnerable themes, weak passwords, the whole shebang. And internally, how it pulls this off is actually super fascinating. It uses HTTP requests, fingerprinting methods, and header analysis. It's essentially checking public resources, like XML/RPC endpoints, which are just communication channels for external apps, or plugin README files right from the outside. So it alerts you to exactly what a bad actor would see if they were probing your site.
Now hold up, because before we go any further, there is a golden rule we have to establish. Always use WPScan only on websites you own or systems where you have permission to test. Seriously, this explainer is strictly educational. We are talking about defensive auditing. Running a scanner on a website without explicit, documented permission is a massive, absolute line you just do not cross. The goal here is to build our walls higher, not tear other people's down.
All right, moving on to part 2, speaking the command line and learning the basic syntax.
If you have never used a command line interface, honestly, do not panic. WPScan is surprisingly straightforward once you get the vibe of its syntax. You're basically just stringing together a simple sentence using commands and flags. Think of the flags like little building blocks. You always start with --URL to point at your target website, but then you just stack other flags to change what the tool does. For instance, the -E flag stands for enumerate, meaning to discover or list out. You drop that in to find usernames, plugins, and media files. Want to save your report? Just tack on a -O to spit the output into a text file. Need things to be a bit quieter? The --stealthy flag attempts to mask your behavior. It's really just a matter of mixing and matching the right ingredients.
To put that into perspective, think about a basic scan versus a really deep scan. A baseline scan is super simple. Just type WPScan, followed by --URL, and your target. Boom, you get a quick, surface-level look. But watch what happens when we add -EAP to enumerate all plugins, and then --plugins detection aggressive. You've completely changed the intensity of the scan. You've basically told your security guard to stop casually glancing at the front door and to actively rattle every single lock, hinge, and window pane on the building. The tool scales to whatever you need instantly. Which brings us to Section 3, Finding WordPress Weaknesses. What is WPScan actually looking for? So what exactly is our automated guard hunting for out there? Well, WPScan primarily targets a specific list of weaknesses. First, it's checking for outdated WordPress core versions that have known documented flaws. It runs user enumeration to see if your admin usernames are just floating out there publicly, which, gives hackers exactly half the puzzle they need to log in. It aggressively cross-references your plugins and themes against massive vulnerability databases, but it goes way deeper than that. It's hunting for accidentally exposed backup files, it's checking if XML/RPC is enabled, it's even reviewing your HTTP headers to see if you're accidentally leaking the exact server tech you're running. Honestly, every single one of these is just an unlocked backdoor waiting to be found. And here's the thing, No matter which of those weaknesses you're hunting down, you have to follow an exact, universal 4-step process every single time. Step 1, run your command. Step 2, review those results thoroughly. Step 3, document everything you found using that -O flag we talked about to make a report. And Step 4, fix the weaknesses, assuming it's your site, of course. This simple loop right here, this is the absolute heartbeat of professional security auditing.
All right, Section 4, the Essential Hacker Toolkit. Let's talk setup and the rookie mistakes to avoid.
To really master this stuff, you need a proper environment. You need a safe place to break things and fix them without accidentally taking down someone's actual business. Setting up a lab is where it gets really fun. Alongside WPScan itself, the pros use operating systems like Kali Linux or Ubuntu. Things like VirtualBox and local WP are total game changers. They let you spin up completely isolated, local WordPress sites right on your own laptop. Then you've got Burp Suite Community for intercepting web traffic, and Nmap for scanning network ports. This whole suite of tools gives you a pristine, completely safe sandbox for your authorized testing.
But listen, even inside a lab, or especially if you're transitioning to live sites you own, you've got to dodge some pretty critical rookie mistakes. Like we said, scanning without permission is the #1, absolute biggest error. Next up, running those aggressive scans on a live production server. If you do that, or if you blast the system with high thread counts, your scan acts exactly like a cyber attack. You will literally crash the site. Also, do not ignore your reports. The data doesn't help anyone if you just let it sit there. And finally, failing to run the --update command. If you don't update WPScan's database, you're basically trying to fight today's threats using yesterday's map. And finally, Section 5, your 30-day mastery plan. Let's walk through the roadmap. How do we actually bring this all together without getting totally overwhelmed? Well, the source material lays out some great, realistic expectations. Mastering this takes time. You're not going to become a hacker overnight, and that is totally fine. Look at the first 6 days. Just focus on getting Linux and WPScan installed and learning some basic commands. Just the scaffolding. Days 7 through 14, that's when you study how WordPress is actually built, learning directories like WP content, and you run basic scans in your local lab. By days 15 to 22, you're enumerating plugins and studying specific vulnerabilities. And in that final week, you're writing crisp reports, practicing lab scenarios, and building out your own personal security checklist. This kind of step-by-step pacing builds true confidence.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to highlight this one core idea from the text. Cybersecurity rewards curiosity, patience, and responsibility. Honestly, that captures the entire ethos of everything we've looked at today. WPScan is a beast of a tool, sure, but it is just a tool. The real power? That comes from your patience to learn the architecture, your curiosity to figure out how it breaks, and your absolute responsibility in using that knowledge to protect things.
So, I'm going to leave you with this. What are you going to audit first in your safe local lab? Are you going to spin up some terrible, outdated theme just to see how fast WPScan catches it? Or maybe set up some weak admin passwords to watch the enumerator go to work? Whatever it is, go download the tools, build that safe sandbox, and get your hands dirty. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Stay curious, stay ethical, and have fun auditing.